Some things that the Lord has been talking with me about and dealing with me is the subject of oral intimacy. He started to explain to me how, as a woman, basically my mouth and my womb are portals, right? And he started to explain how they're not only portals, but they are the entryway into your body, right? He explained how the mouth takes in, absorbs, disperses throughout your body. So whether you eat, drink, or whatever, it disperses throughout your body and go to the places that is needed, right? And liquids are digested way faster and absorbed way faster than any other form of food. And he also explained to me how the womb is an entry point. So like basically your mouth speaks life, right? Life or death. Your mouth speaks life. And your womb gives life, right? And he explained how your womb basically gives life. It takes in and it creates. You create out of your womb, especially as a woman. And he started to deal with me when it came to oral and how he started to explain to me how it works. And he brought to mind a word called succubus, right? And I know when we look up succubus, I know what it means, but he used this to me as suck. So succubus, suck, right? And he explains how when another person puts their mouth onto your womb, where you create your energy, your source, right? How that is a doorway for a demon or a demonic spirit to be able to suck and receive life, your energy, your essence, right? And he explained to me how this works. He also explained to me your mouth. When you allow things to enter your mouth that should not, and you receive a seed, how that is absorbed in your body. That is now absorbed and able to go different parts of your body, right? And he explained this from a spiritual standpoint. It's not just physical, it's also spiritual, because spiritually you are it's an exchange, right? They're taking energy from you, they're taking your essence, they're withdrawing from you. And especially during those moments where you get really excited and have the big O, that's the most powerful release of energy, right? And you wonder why after you drain, because it takes so much of you, and they are absorbing it through their mouth. And in exchange, they are then defiling you by taking your energy, your essence, whatever good about you, they're taking it. And then in exchange, they're giving you whatever it is that they have, their worries, their stress, their demons, what diseases, whatever it may be. It's not just, it's a spiritual transfer. It's a spiritual transfer. It's a spiritual transfer. And as he explained to this, he also showed me different areas in my life of one, when I first was introduced to it, two, he showed me just different relationships that I had where when it was time for that part, how that was the first thing they went for, was given. So me receiving, them giving. And I was okay. I really didn't pay no mind. And it was just like, when it's taken from you, and if you have that big O, your energy is leaving out, and you're very tired. And so therefore, because you're tired, you're almost in a place of submission, because you don't have the energy to kind of really just, and so at that point, it leaves you vulnerable for them to be able to enter in or give to you, because you're open, that exchange. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm having a hard time with this because it's something that I know that he talked to me about, and I thought it would be private, and now he's saying no, you need to share it, and I'm like, I'm being obedient, but anyway. And so it's like a warning. It was a warning for me, but I also believe it's a warning for other people too. You have to protect your bodies. I remember a time where I was dealing with this one particular relationship, and that's something, the first time ever, that's something that happened. And as that happened, I started to come to mind a lot of these relationships that I had been in before. Their names started popping in my head, and I didn't understand why their names were popping in my head during that time. And it was almost a spot where I was like, yo, I don't want to do this no more. But I continued to let it happen. And he revealed to me that was my body telling me of all the different spirits that I have came in contact with, and how even this person I was with was the same spirit. Didn't know that then. Also, after that, it was like this thing would happen about 2 to 3 times. So it was about 2 to 3 times a week, and almost back to back, right? Round two, round one, round two. And I would find myself just passing out. And he was explaining how you were being drained of your energy, right? You were being drained of your energy. And I was like, okay, cool. So I saw that one. Then with this particular person too, I started to get like really bad cysts. I ended up having to go to the hospital because I had cyst torsion, whatever that's called. And it was fluid buildup in my fallopian tubes, fluid buildup in my ovaries, and I even had a cyst, almost a 5 centimeter cyst attached to my ovaries. And I was in so much pain dealing with this person, so much pain. And so I end up going to the hospital because it got so bad. I ended up having surgery and having a partial hysterectomy where they had to take the whole left side. So left ovary, left fallopian tube, and the cyst. And I said, okay, cool, whatever. I let them take it because I had already was dealing with endometriosis, which that's another thing to talk about. But so they took it or whatever. And after that happened, this person still continued to want to. Even though I'm like, I can't do anything for 6 weeks, it's like they still wanted to, right? They had to continuously feed off of my energy. Again, I'm not aware of this. And sometimes I think for people, you have a light and you have an essence. And especially when you are celibate and when you are not just dispersing your energy, you have an overflow of it. And you don't even know that you have an overflow or a backup of it. And so they just continue to drain him. But after the surgery and stuff, I remember hearing the Lord say, start using protection. Start using protection with him. He explained to me that's not just a fluid buildup. He explained to me how, because his stuff was very thick, very thick. But he explained to me how that wasn't just a fluid buildup. He said that was him trying to defile me and trying to transfer what he had on him to me. And he explained how my body was not able to absorb it. And so what it would do was just take it and put it in these pockets. And then they build up and build up and build up with this fluid, right? And he was like, that's how the cyst came. That's what happened. He said it wasn't just no backup of fluid, like the doctor said. He said that's actually your body rejecting and not absorbing, right? And so when they removed that, I said, okay. And I went to him and I was like, yo, we got to start using protection. He was heated. He was mad. He did not want to do this. And I ended up going to the doctor, telling my doctor was like, yes, you need to do this to protect yourself. And so only way he would do it was when I would tell him of what my doctor said that I needed to start doing this to protect myself. Well, not protect myself, but I use endometriosis. This is better for my health type of thing. He agreed to start using them, but everything decreased. Intimacy decreased. The oral had already stopped because an incident happened that I was uncomfortable with. And I was like, yeah, nope, not doing it, not giving or receiving. Because they almost use it as humiliation. But so stop that. I started feeling better. My energy started feeling better. I actually started to come out of whatever daze, whatever spell that I was in, and started to really see things for what they were. And that relationship didn't last, but this is just me being obedient, saying, protect yourself. Understand what you have and what gifts you have, right? These are portals. People will take advantage of them if they can.